Hello everyone and welcome to Brain Blitz Audios. Today, in this particular episode of CAT Curriculum, we will be looking at some questions from previous year's papers of the CAT examination, known as the Common Admissions Test. Today I'll be looking at the section of CAT titled Quantitative Aptitude. So today's questions from QA are as follows. Here's our first question. The number of girls appearing for an admission test is twice the number of boys. If 30% of the girls and 45% of the boys get an admission, the percentage of candidates who do not get admission are. So, how do we solve this question? Well, we're told that the number of girls appearing in the admission test is twice the number of boys. That means the ratio between girls and boys is 2:1. Now let's consider the number of girls appearing for the admission test as 200B, and for the number of boys attending the test, let's consider that to be 100B. Now, if we are taking this convention, then the total number of candidates will be 300B. Now let's make a table, all right? So we'll make a table of admitted students versus rejected candidates, and we're going to categorize them based on their gender. So first up, we have the girls. Now we know that the total number of girls appearing for the admission test is 200B. And it is said in the question that 30% of the girls get into the institution. So therefore, the admitted girls, their number would be 30 over 100, which is the percentage, times the total, which is 200B. Now therefore, that would give you 30 times 2, which would be 60B. So 60B girls are admitted to the institution. Therefore, if you look at rejected, then that would be 200B minus 60B, which is equal to 140B. Now let's turn towards the boys. All right, let's just draw a line to separate them. Now, for the boys, it is said that 45% of them crack the admission test. We know that the total number of boys is 100B. So therefore, 45 over 100 times 100 B are the number of boys admitted, which of course comes down to 45B. We just have to cancel 100 from both the numerator and the denominator. That also means that the number of rejected boys would be 100B minus 45B, which will be equal to 55B. Okay? Now let's look at the total number of candidates who got admitted and the total number who got rejected. So total admitted candidates would be 60 plus 45. That would be equal to 105B. The number of rejected candidates would be 140 minus 140 plus 55, which would be 195B. So if you were to add 195 and 105, you would get the total number of candidates that appeared for the test, which is 300B. We need to find out the percentage of candidates rejected, which will be equal to the amount of people who got rejected, which is 195B, over the total amount of candidates, which is 300B, times 100. The B's get cancelled, the 2 zeros get cancelled, so we basically have 195 over 3. 3 sixes are 18, 1 gets carried over, and 5 goes down, becomes 15. 5 times 3 is also 15, so the remainder is 0, and the quotient is 65. So therefore, the percentage of candidates who were rejected from the admissions test, who do not get the admission, is option D, 65. So 65% of candidates did not get the admission test, did not crack the admission test. The other options turn out to be incorrect because by using the method that we just did, we just found out that the percentage of candidates who got rejected are 65% of the candidates. Now let's look at the next question. A stall sells popcorn and chips in packets of 3 sizes: large, super, and jumbo. The numbers of large, super, and jumbo packets in its stock are in the ratio 7:17:16 for popcorn and 6:15:14 for chips. If the total number of popcorn packets in its stock is the same as that of chips packets, then we need to find out the ratio in which the numbers of jumbo popcorn packets and jumbo chips packets are present. So let's look at a couple of things. So we know that there are popcorn packets and chips packets. So let's consider the popcorn packets as P, and let's consider the chips packets as C. All right? And now we can make a table for the packets based on their size and what they hold. So we have 3 columns: size, popcorn, and chips. So the first one would be large. So what are the values? Now, if you look at it, we have 3 sizes: large, super, and jumbo. And we'll also add a total in order to get our final values. So the ratio for large, super, and jumbo popcorn packets are 7:17:16. That means there are 7P popcorn packets, which are large, 17P popcorn packets that are super size, and 16P packets, which are in jumbo size. Similarly, for chips, it will be 6, and since the notation is C, so it'll be 6 times C. For super size, it would be 15 times C, and for jumbo size, it would be 14 times C. Now, if we take the total, 7 plus 17 plus 16 yields 40, so that'll be 40 times P. And for chips, it'll be 15 plus 14 plus 6, which would be equal to 35 C. So there are 40 P popcorn packets and 35 C chips packets. Now, according to the question, the total number of popcorn packets in its stock is the same as that of chips packets. Now, what does that mean? It means 40P will be equal to 35C. So we can take out 5 as a common factor. That means 8P will be equal to 7C. So that you could probably write C as 8 over 7P and P as 7 over 8C, but it doesn't lead you anywhere. However, if you look at it, 8 and 7 have a common multiple, which is 56. So what are we going to do is we're going to consider 56K equals to 8P equals to 7C. Now we're going to consider K as a non-zero constant. Okay? So we're going to write P and C in terms of this constant K. So therefore what we get is, since we know that 8P equals 56K. Therefore, P equals 56 over 8K, which is 7K. And similarly, 7C equals 56K. So therefore, C equals 56 over 7K, which is equal to 8K. So P equals 7K, C equals 8K. Now we need to find the required ratio. Now the question, if we go back to the question says we need to find the ratio between the number of jumbo popcorn packets and the number of jumbo chips packets. So jumbo popcorn packets are 16P and jumbo chips packets are 14C. So the required ratio will be 16P is to 14C. Now, how do we equate them? We will use the K values. So here it'll be 16 times 7K is to 14 times 8K. So we can cancel out the K's. We can cancel 8 and 16. So you get the 2 on the left side. Similar policy with 7s from both sides. So on the right side, you also get a 2. So the ratio now turns out to be 2:2, which again, you can cancel the 2's out. So what we get in theory is that the required ratio between jumbo popcorn packets and jumbo chips packets is 1:1. So the number of jumbo popcorn packets and jumbo chips packets are in the ratio 1:1. And that means option A turns out to be our right option. 8:7, 4:3, and 6:5 are all options that will not work. By using our method, we found out that the ratio, since we know that the total number of popcorn packets is the same as the number of chips packets, we just had to equate them to a common non-zero constant. And using that, we can find the ratio between the number of jumbo popcorn packets and jumbo chips packets. And that gives us the answer 1:1. Now let's look at another question. This one says, in a market, the price of medium quality mangoes is half that of good mangoes. A shopkeeper buys 80 kilograms of good mangoes and 40 kilograms of medium quality mangoes. He buys them from the market and sells all of these at a common price. Now, what is this common price? It is 10% less than the price at which he bought the good ones. Now we need to find out what is his overall profit. Okay? So the first statement says the price of medium quality mangoes is half that of good quality mangoes. So in order to make our life easier, since we also have a percentage value and we also have this particular ratio value, we're going to consider price of medium quality mango to be rupees 100 times a constant P per kilogram, and the price for good quality mangoes to be rupees 200p per kilogram, because according to the question, good quality mangoes cost twice that of medium quality mangoes. Now we need to find out the total cost price incurred by the shopkeeper. So the total cost price here, for medium quality, the price is 100p per kilogram, and the number of the amount that he buys, the amount of medium quality mangoes that he buys is 40. Plus 200p is the price for good quality mangoes per kilogram, and the amount that he bought would be 80 kilogram. So 100p times 40 plus 200p times 80, that would give you 4,000 plus 16,000, which would be equal to 20,000 P. Don't forget the P, because these values are all multiplied to the constant P, so the final cost price would also be in terms of P. So 20,000 P is the total cost price. We need to find out the total selling price. Okay, so the total selling price. Now, how exactly do we know the total selling price? Remember, the selling price for both these mangoes is 10% less than the cost price of the good quality mangoes. We know that the price of a good quality mango at which the shopkeeper buys is 200p per kg. So therefore, the total selling price would be 200 minus 10% of 200 multiplied by the total quantity of mangoes that he buys, which in this case would be 80 kilograms plus 40 kilograms. Now remember, this 200 minus 10% of 200 is multiplied by P, again, since we have to stick with that constant. Now 10% of 200 is obviously 20, so 200 minus 20 times P times 80 plus 40, in this case, gets you 120. So 200 minus 20 gives you 180 times 120 times P. So it'll be 180 times 120. You can do that multiplication. So what you get is 0, 0, 0, 0, 6, 3. All right, so let's do this again. 0 times 0 is 0, 0, 0. 0 times 2 is 0. 8 times 2 is 16. And 1 times 2 is 2. 2 plus 1 is 3, of course. Now, 0 times 1 is 0. 8, 1. Now let's try this. Be 0, 0. 6 carries down. 3 plus 8 gives you 11. 1 carries over. 1 plus 1 gives you 2. So finally, the total selling price would be 21,600p. Now, obviously, you know that your total cost price is 20,000, but your total selling price is 21,600. So basically, the profit that is earned would be 21,600p minus 20,000p, which is equal to 1,600p. Now, profit is always earned over the cost price. So we need to find out his overall profit. So, and the overall profit is given in percentages according to our options. So the profit percentage would be 1,600p, which is the profit amount, over the cost price, which in this case is 20,000p, times 100. The p's get cancelled, 2 zeros get cancelled from 120,000, and 2 zeros get cancelled from 1,600 and to 20,000. What we get is 16 over 2, which is equal to 8%. So the profit percentage, the effective profit that the shopkeeper has earned by doing what was suggested in the question, his overall profit, if we go back, his overall profit is 8%. So option B turns out to be the right option. So the idea is, since medium quality mangoes cost half of good quality mangoes, if the shopkeeper buys the specified quantity of good mangoes and medium quality mangoes, sells these at a common price 10% less than the price at which he bought the good ones, then the overall profit for him would be 8%. The other options, when you calculate them, turn out to be wrong, so option B, 8%, is the right option. Now let's go to the final question for today. If Fatima sells 60 identical toys at a 40% discount on the printed price, then she makes a 20% profit. However, 10 of these toys were unfortunately destroyed in a fire. Now, while selling the rest, how much discount should be given on the printed price so that she can make the same amount of profit? Okay? Well, this question might look a bit complicated at first. Now remember, each toy has a printed price. We're going to consider that printed price to be 100p. Now this is also selling price, because the price printed on the label is always the selling price. It may or may not be equal to the cost price, but the price that is printed is always the selling price. Now, Fatima sells toys at 40% discount. So the price of toys at 40% discount will be 100p minus 40p, which is equal to 60p. All right, so the price of the toys is 60p. That is her current selling price. Now, we need to know what is her profit. So earlier, when she sold 60 identical toys at 40% discount, then she made a 20% profit. Okay, so the profit that we know is 20% of the cost price. We will consider 100C to be the cost price. So 20% of 100C is the profit that she earns, which is 20C. Okay. Now, since 20C is the profit that she earns, and her cost price is 100C, then her selling price in the unit of C will be equal to 120C. Now, we already know that her selling price after 40% discount is also equal to 60p. So 120C will be equal to 60p. Now, from there, we can get the relation P equals 2 times of C. Now, using that, the printed price, which was the original selling price, so the printed price in terms of C would be 100 times P, which is equal to 100 times 2C, which is equal to 200C. So 200C is the printed price for each toy that Fatima sells. Now let's calculate the total cost. The total cost that Fatima incurs would be 60 toys times 100C, which is equal to 6,000C. So that's her total cost. Now, in the question, 10 of these toys were destroyed in a fire. So after the fire, Fatima has 50 toys left. All right, so she has 50 pieces left. However, she still needs to make the same profit. So her total profit to be made is 20% of total cost. Now that means 20 by 100 times 6,000 C, if our calculations are right. Now that gives you 20 times 60, which is 1,200 C. All right. So this is the total profit that she has to make. Now remember, her total cost was 6,000. Her total profit to be made is 1,200. That means her total selling price will be equal to 6,000 C plus 1,200 C, which is equal to 7,200 C. Now, if you look at it, we just have to divide that per toy. So selling price that Fatima would give per toy will be equal to 7,200C over the number of toys, which in this case is 50. So 1 0 gets cancelled. 720 over 5, which is equal to 144. You can do the math yourself. So 14 times 5 is 70. 2 carried over. 0 goes down. You get 20. 4 times 5 is 20. Remainder is 0. Quotient is 144. So 144C is the selling price per toy after the fire. Now, remember, the printed price is 200C. Your selling price now is 144C. So therefore, the discount that Fatima is giving right now is 200C minus 144C. 200 minus 144 would give you 56. So 56C is the amount that is discounted. Now, we need to get the discount percentage since the question is asking for the discount percentage. So discount percentage in this case would be 56C over 200C into 100. The C's gets cancelled. 200, the zeros from 200 and 100 get cancelled. What we get is 56 over 2, which, if you divide that, will be equal to 28%. So if you look at our question, the correct answer would be option D, 28%. So the idea is we find out the actual selling price after the 40% discount for the earlier case. We find out what the profit is in terms of the cost price, and we equate the selling price in a unit that is used for the cost price, and then we find the relation between the unit of the selling price and the unit of the cost price. And after doing that, calculate the total cost and calculate the printed price in terms of the unit of the cost price. After that, once you can eliminate the 10 toys that were destroyed during the fire, you can calculate remaining profit, profit required, selling price, and then distribute it over every toy, and then take it from the original printed price, and then the discount that you get can be, divided over the cost price times 100, and you would get 28% as the answer. So option D, 28% is the right answer. The other options turn out to be incorrect. Now that concludes this particular episode of CAT Curriculum. We hope you found this episode interesting and informative. For more of our useful and interesting content, don't forget to subscribe to Brain Blitz Audios. If you want to get more updates on the CAT exam or on any of our other test series, then please don't forget to hit the bell icon present below the video. So until the next episode, take care, stay safe, ta-ta for now.